Hello, fellow otaku. Welcome to Otaku Movie Anatomy. Get ready to go to the world of superheroes galore in the future, right? In the futuristic world of Tiger and Bunny, The Rising.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Otaku Movie Anatomy.
I will never get used to that intro, man.
I know, right?
Thank you guys for watching
so
Thank you guys for watching Otaku Movie Anatomy. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and comment on us on iTunes.
Yeah.
And also follow us on Twitter at The Popcorn Talk. I'm your host, Chubby Bunny Michelle, and you can find me everywhere on the internet at I Am Chubby Bunny. And today I am joined by my fellow hosts.
Yes, hello everyone. It's nice to be back for another week. You can follow me at cutback.
Do you guys even remember who this is?
Only one more week.
Remember?
And then he's gone for another 4 months.
Yep.
He's really busy.
You'll never see me again after tonight. Yes, at cutback.
And I'm Maxwell Song. You know my face. I wasn't here last week, but now I'm here this week. And you can find me at all the social media at Super Otaku. Super Attack with the U at the end.
I feel like you need to say it super otaku, because when you say your
Otaku.
A is really OE,
Yeah.
because you're Californian, and it sounds weird.
Well, attack like I'm attack you,
It's
like an angry
super
cat.
attack you. Say attack you, people will know.
Attack you.
Attack you.
All right. So what are we doing?
What are you doing here? What are you doing?
What's our thing?
I don't know. So we're talking about Tiger and Bunny,
Yeah.
The Rising, which is the second movie of the two movies, and also occurs after the anime series, which was amazing. Did you guys? So who here has watched Tiger and Bunny, the animated series?
I unfortunately have not finished it. I have watched up to half of the series, and I don't know what happened. It just kind of got lost within,
Okay, so this is nice. We've got a nice range of the panel here because, Michelle, you've seen all of it.
All of it.
Max, you've seen half of it. And I've seen none of it except this movie.
Yeah.
So we've got
perfect.
three very different
Yeah,
angles
yeah,
coming in
yeah.
tonight, so I like that.
All right, so I'm going to do a little recap-oos of the animes. So the anime came out in 2011. Are we saying that now? 2011 to 2000?
Wait, oh yeah, that's what we do, right?
What's
2011.
What was it?
I'm just
different
questioning
before?
our English language right now. I'm sorry, doing this on air. So it came out in 2011.
Either way.
There were 25 episodes. So the reason Max, you might have stopped watching it halfway through is because it goes through like 3 very specific arcs. It starts with like, here's the introduction, here's all the characters, stuff's happening. Then there's an arc with this one villain. Then it kind of doesn't really get resolved. And then like, okay, another villain, and then it's like a 3-arc 25-episode season.
Was the first villain? I can't remember. Was it?
He's in this
was
movie.
The crazy guy. No, his name is like Violence or something.
Yeah. I think it really was. It was like
Volatile.
violence or something like that.
Vengeance.
Yeah.
You know, we're all looking through our notes. It's something like that.
Get into that in a second. He comes back. He
it's
doesn't
something
die or
very
anything.
visceral and aggressive.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
I was like, oh man, that's super cool. Guy that I was really impressed with, and so no, I totally forgot. But he looks crazy. He has like
The big eye
he has
opening, yeah.
big, crazy cartoon eyes, and his power is
Yeah.
fire. I think.
It's really hot fire. It's
Yeah.
fire hotter than Fire Emblem's fire.
Oh,
According to
man.
the Wikipedia,
wow.
the Tiger and Bunny Wikipedia, which exists.
That's
course
Very
it does.
specific.
His power actually is fire hotter than fire
because
emblems.
it
Okay,
burns
there you go.
green. Alright, let's keep going.
Yeah.
So,
and
in
black.
the original anime, the setup of this whole world is that it takes place in NC 1978, but NC it's like we have BC and AD. It's like another C, so it's supposed to be a couple thousand years in the future.
It's supposed to be like New York or something, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
New York.
futuristic New York. That's called Stern Build City, which always killed me because it was just such a weird.
Stern Build
They just
City.
opened a dictionary and were like, that word, city.
You know what is this like?
This is very indicative of like when you have those, sort of Japanese or Chinese restaurants here in the States where it's like super happy, awesome, Asian food. Whatever, that's racist.
Yeah.
But like the point is, that's
That's
kind of
very
totally
racist.
racist. But the thing is, that's kind of what it is. And look, I'm calling it out what it is. I'm calling it out. But the truth is, we see that. It's kind of an ongoing
You
joke.
can find Jonathan at Cat on the internet.
Yes, you guys. Yes, you could burn
All
me on the
your
internet
online
for
hate.
this. Yes. For all your stereotypes.
So yeah, it's a weird mashup of words. It's definitely supposed to be New York, but in the future.
Yeah.
In this world, there's people called Nexts, Nexts, and it stands for Noted Entities with Extraordinary Talents. It's quite a stretch. They did some weird
Japan,
Englishing.
you love your acronyms,
They did it in
just like
English.
we do.
They were like
We have
Noted
shields.
Entities. For,
Yeah, and this covers mutants as well as enhanced super people, as well as people with
Yeah.
suits.
Iron
like
Mans.
technology.
You call them
Yeah.
Iron Mans. Yeah.
Yeah,
And Iron Man. So basically, it is shields.
And in
Yeah,
this world, superheroes can work for this major company called Apollon Media, and they will be sponsored by companies, and they are put on a show called Hero TV, which is reality TV that follows them around fighting bad guys.
Right.
For the benefit of
also
sponsors.
To add, that's basically the only way to be a hero, because it's all kind of like intertwined. The only real reason that heroes are allowed to be heroes is because of sponsorships.
Yes.
And so basically the idea is they have this hero association. They have to make money somehow because they have to pay for the collateral damage that they eventually create, which they do very clearly, especially in this movie. I feel like it's very little in the series. It's like here and there, but some buildings, whatever.
In the movie, buildings are coming down.
Oh,
This one,
shit
it's just
happens.
like everything. Like
Yeah.
everything you can destroy, it becomes destroyed.
If you guys are a fan of Marvel or the Civil War series, you understand that sort of this is the process of what it was all becoming, that superhumans had to work under government supervision. They had to
Right.
work for the government. This is the evolution of that, where like
Right.
it is now the norm where they work for the government, is now to the point where they work for Pepsi. They work for sponsors.
Yeah.
It's
So
all
the
about
sponsors
making
are real
money.
companies.
Yes. Yeah.
In the anime, and John will talk about the specific companies because they're fucking hilarious.
Hilarious.
Drop the F-bomb already. It's starting
Yes, there's
really
one.
early.
That's one.
That's one. So anyway, on the show, it's a point system. So when you catch the bad guy, you get a certain amount of points.
Yeah.
And you can become the king of heroes. And that's kind of
So they have a ranking system,
Yeah.
kind of like One Punch Man is probably a
Right.
recent
Oh,
yeah,
example. You know,
that's
they
good.
had like A class, B class, C class. This one is, I believe, like first
league.
Second league,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the second league, you guys, is hilarious. I
Yeah,
love
second-
second
I
league.
love Second League.
Great.
Yeah.
So,
Second league is Kamen Rider.
Yeah, Moomin Rider.
Yes.
So in the first anime series, you get the only anime series, you get these characters, Wild Tiger and Barnaby J. Brooks. Every time they say it in katakana words, it makes me laugh. So Barnaby, who's Bunny, and they get paired together and they butt heads, but they have a similar superhero power, which is they have 100 power, which has become super crazy strong for 5 minutes. It's like the
Yes.
worst power.
Yeah.
Wait, 100? Are you
It's called
talking
100
about
power.
Barnaby?
They both have something called 100 power. They
Yeah.
have the same power, but later on, Tiger's power starts to disintegrate a little bit. And
Is it because he's old? Is that the
It's
reason
because
why?
it's- old.
But
Yeah.
also I think
Is that because he had a kid?
yeah, it
Because
is.
the thing is, everyone makes reference to Tiger being like old and middle
Like
aged.
a middle
Yeah.
age.
Yeah, he's not even that
He's
old.
like 32 or
yeah, and
something.
they're like, oh, shut up, old man.
This is Japan. That is
Yeah.
middle age.
He's like 32 and has like a 12-year-old daughter, and
Yeah,
You're
they're
supposed
like,
to have
"You
a
old
family,
bastard."
and then at 40, you're supposed to live to 80 as an old person.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
That's
actually
Japan for you.
when you're 30, his power only lasts for 1 minute, so he can only turn on his power for 1 minute. So I'm
Yeah.
afraid in like 5 years, he's only gonna have like 24 seconds.
Seconds, yeah.
yeah.
So,
Sucks.
poor guy.
If he's being a hero at like 45, you're just like, at that point, you're like, I get that it's supposed to be like, oh, he's experienced and he can like, win the hearts of people. But at that point, you're just like, you're an old man.
Yeah, you're just a,
Yeah, that's like telling Michael Jordan to come back and play basketball. Like that's not ever gonna happen.
Nope.
You shouldn't let that happen. You
And
know.
at the end of this anime, actually, he's like, I'm gonna quit being a superhero, and then
Yeah.
he stops, and then like it shows 1 year later, he like just gets back into it for no fucking reason,
Yeah.
and then like. So does Barnaby.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, I'm gonna be here again too. I stopped retiring as well. And then that's the end of the first series, the first 25 episodes, basically. A lot of stuff happens between. Really great. Watch it on Hulu. So in the first, another movie came out.
Put that patch.
Put
on.
it down.
yeah, that's right. We should be sponsored by Hulu.
I know. So there was a film called Tiger and Bunny: The Beginning, which is like a prequel as well as a first 3-episode like recap, which I hate those kinds of movies. It's just filler. That came out in 2012. And then Tiger and Bunny: The Rising, which we are covering today, even though kicking off topic, was released on February 8th, 2014. So fairly recently.
Yeah.
Fairly recently. It's not a super old movie.
Yeah, a couple years.
And then actually recently, in October of last year, it was announced at New York Comic Con that a live-action Hollywood film adaptation is occurring of this series, produced by Ron Howard.
Crazy, huh?
So we all know that's going to star Tom Cruise, right? That's just
so
happening.
we've got like Ron Howard like taking, probably you're right, like Tom
What?
Cruise going to
Who's
be
great,
in Tiger
by
and
the
Bunny,
way.
and then
Yeah.
we also have I think like someone like who is it, Leonardo DiCaprio or Jordan Gutterleven
Sure.
trying to do Akira, like Akira, like it's just I'm not sure what's happening right now,
I
but
mean,
they're trying to
ScarJo's
whitewash
definitely
all
going
of
to be
them.
in it.
It's good, that we're kind of like a part
Johansson.
of this.
This
that's
is
what
our
we're trying to
generation.
promote. We're gonna. It's gonna be like in the next I don't know, 5 years, I'd say, there's just going to be a slew of anime movies that are like fairly decent.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be like video game movies,
Sure.
then anime. Our age is coming.
Just
Our
it'll take a couple years to get there, maybe.
Yeah, and it's gonna.
Because remember, guys, we started out with X-Men First Class, and now look where we are.
Yeah.
Now we have like 1,000
That's not a good
of
analogy.
them.
But yeah, you see where you're going. But the thing is, it's true though. I just hope that, which is probably going to happen, like they're not so whitewashed.
Yeah.
And like that's what's happening right now with Scarlett Johansson and that whole situation. It would be like us having this panel and it's just like, three of me. Like, so this is where we're going tonight. All right.
Sorry, I'm just gonna check chat real quick.
Hey, chat, what's up?
Hello, everyone.
Are you guys
in
actually
chat.
talking there? Holy
Yes,
shit.
in the beginning
Yeah.
I was dabbing. I'm not really sure what that is yet, but kids are
This is
doing
the
it.
dab. This is
So
the dab.
Is you dab?
Yeah. It's like,
I'm not 100% sure what that is. Why? Why do you do it? I don't know. Seems cool. And I believe someone mentioned Shaku no Shana, which I'm not sure why you did, but that is also kind of an excellent
Stay
series.
on task, chat.
you know
How
what
dare
a
you.
dab
Come on,
is?
man.
Reverse it. A dab is just bad. I'm
Bad.
sorry. This is bad.
All right. Oh,
you
look
very
at this
much.
dad humor
Spoken
here.
like an old man.
All right, guys.
I'm tired.
Let's get back to this
Back to the
actual show. So, real quick, the voice actors, which I was just like, man, now that I've watched a bunch of anime between Tiger and Bunny the first season and now, I'm like, their voices are so familiar. So, specifically, Kotetsu, who is Wild Tiger, main dude, his voice actor, Hiroaki Hirata, he's also Senji in One Piece. He was Shagojo in Sayuki. And he's the narrator of Digimon Adventure.
Whoa.
He's
nice.
also the official voice dubber of Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
That's the thing you
That's
can
just
put under
funny.
your belt, spare.
That's just
And then Barnaby was Masakazu Morita. And Morita did Ichigo from Bleach, a little
yeah.
show called Bleach you guys might know of.
Yeah.
That's probably never getting finished.
No, actually, it's winding down.
They're
in their
final
It's
arc.
on the last arc.
And
Final
then
arc.
maybe he'll show up in the
they're
Bleach
actually-
rock musical that's coming out soon.
Yeah, they gave up the anime portion of it
Okay.
like a long time ago, a
Okay,
couple
yeah,
years
yeah.
ago. But the manga, they're
manga.
actually in the final arc. The problem is this final arc is like 5,000 episodes long.
Yeah.
It's a pain in my ass.
It's basically like he's like trying to draw it out as much as possible. I have no clue what's going on at this point,
It
so
makes
I'm
no
just
sense.
like literally just like it's just shit that he's like making up at this point. He's just like let's make him a giant monster that's almighty, like
Yeah.
an angel.
It makes
You
no
guys have a lot
sense.
of Bleach
Yeah.
feelings.
It's really, guys, Bleach is falling apart completely.
I know. I used to really
It's
like
down,
it
yeah.
season 1, and then season 2 I was like, oh no, there's
Yeah.
no ending to this, and I
It-
just stopped watching it. I knew
Yeah.
better. Anyway, this Morita also did the voice of Titus in Final Fantasy X, or Tidus, depending on what you're watching.
Tidus.
Okay, real quick, the rising plot. Oh my god, it took us so long to get to this part.
We're having a good time.
It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
So this great, very very well paced, not too long as we say, movie. It takes place after the end of the anime. So basically in this movie, Tiger and Bunny are watching over the second league, which is kind of like really crappy. It's a really amazing opening scene where they it's just like
They're just like
terrible
the
heroes.
worst heroes. Like they just have no common sense as
Like their
people
powers
at all.
kind of suck. So
Yeah.
like the one lady's like, "I'm gonna poison you," and he like sneezes. And he's like, "Oh, that was it."
And
he
one
keeps
guy,
going.
and one guy like makes it rain, but literally he just like sprays a little water, like mist.
Yeah. And he's like,
It's
"Stop,
salt.
stop."
It's salt. The power is like he just shoots salt. And he's like salty.
And who was like, the one guy who was in he was like in the ocean, and he's like, "Wait, come over here, come over." He's gonna get
So
out of the
it's
water.
basically Aquaman. It's like making fun of Aquaman because he's in the water and he can't do anything on
Yeah,
land.
it's
He's like,
great.
come on. And
Get over here.
The guy they're trying to catch is just a regular robber. He's just some normal dude who like took someone's purse and is like, well, I guess I'm just gonna run away from these
it's
idiots.
a really amazing opening. Like this movie is
good.
it's just fun. Anyway, so what happens in the big drama is that Tiger and Bunny get separated. Tiger is fired for being too old,
Yeah,
and
basically.
his power kind of sucks. And they fire the second league as well. And Barnaby gets teamed up with someone called Golden Ryan.
Golden Ryan.
Which I
Who-
think is a play
It's
on
totally-
words, right?
yeah,
It's
'cause-
supposed to be lion, but it's also Ryan.
Ryan.
And he's also very American.
I love
yeah.
I love that his secret code name is Golden Ryan, and his name is just Ryan.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like the
And he
it's
is
the
a
best.
big douche.
But he's
he is
kinda-
the
but
biggest
he-
douche.
he's alright. He knows his
he's
place.
like an okay hero, but he's very like he does it for the glamour of it.
Yes.
And the way that they play him is like oh man, you are so foreign. Like you are so like America right now. Like that's
Yeah.
literally the feeling
He's
that I
too
got.
He will
Yeah.
totally throw everyone under the bus to make himself look better.
Yeah.
Like he's like he controls gravity like he in a certain like area.
very
so he
good
can,
power,
It's
yes.
an awesome power. Yeah, he puts his his suit to the ground and literally can pull everything to the earth or like hold things in place. And if anyone's in his way, he's like, all right, too bad for you, stuck.
Yeah.
He's like.
He's okay. And also, like when I first saw this too, I was like, "Oh man, this is Mr. Disposable Hero." Like
He's a one-shot. Yeah.
dude. Like if there is ever a season 2, which I hope there is, I don't know why they haven't made one, but
Yeah.
like let's say that there was, I was like. Oh, they can't have him. Like he might like have a cameo or whatever, but it was just like so evident from the very
Yeah.
beginning that I'm like, you're gonna leave by the end of this movie.
And in the
Yeah.
credits, they do. They have
Yeah.
that little
He
moment in the
absolutely
credits where
does.
he's like, I'm getting paid more money somewhere else. Fuck this scene.
Bye, bitches.
It's great and it's lovely. So anyway, there's this small drama where basically Tiger's like real depressed and his daughter has to call and like cheer him up and just a lot of weird stuff happens.
Yeah, but I will say he's got a good disposition regardless. For
Yeah.
being depressed, he's still like trying to be
he's
positive.
a taxi driver. And
Yeah.
then during this time, a mysterious bad guy comes in, and so there's bad things started happening around the city that seem to reenact
Yeah.
a series of mythological events from Justice Day.
Which they have a day of justice that's based around like this legend in New York. So that's
Legend
just
of
think about
Justice
that.
Day.
Like it's a very like Japanese construct to have like this very heavily kind of like Shinto-esque like goddesses, and we worship the
Yeah.
goddesses and stuff. Which I guess if you think about it, it's like Macy's Day Parade with like nativity scenes.
But with a giant crab that comes
Essentially,
out of the
yeah.
sky.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
the
except for
crab.
this crab.
There's a great holy crab that comes
Okay,
down.
so
instead of Jesus.
It's this crazy
Oh
story
my God,
where
the crab's supposed to be Jesus.
the crab's supposed to be
Crab
Jesus.
is Jesus.
That's exactly what it is.
Honestly.
So
He got eaten for our
Yes,
sins.
it's a Jesus story. So the goddess sends down a crab, which the goddess would be God, and the crab would be Jesus. She sends out a giant crab to tell the people of their sins that they are not doing well, and so the people freaking eat the crab.
Oh my
So the
God.
humans, like they crucified Christ,
Just-
eat the crab.
To be fair, if there was a crab in front of me and it was just like, hark, repent, I'd be like, you look delicious.
And it was a blue crab as well. It's
That's-
portrayed as a blue crab.
That's one of the
not a red
fanciest
crab.
crabs, too. Like, of course
We
you're gonna
know,
eat it.
we know.
It's like that's premium crab right there.
I'm sorry, that's what I want. I want to see that experience happen. Like a crab here in front of you go, hark, repent, and you go, you look delicious.
Oh my God! Just so you guys, this is like the worst recap of a movie I've ever done. So
It's the best, maybe.
to be fair, it's not really religious. This movie is not very
Not
religious,
religious.
and
Not
this
really
Justice Day
religious, yeah.
thing has a very small part of the movie. Actually, it's just like a theme that happens with the crimes.
Well, the
they're
whole
themed.
thing.
The crimes are themed to the story.
Right. And so in a weird way, they set it up as like this cataclysmic event. Like you're not really sure what it is.
It seems like it's gonna be amazingly
yeah,
big.
you think it's gonna be about it's more like a religious thing, like more of a supernatural thing and not like man-made. And I always felt like the way that they presented that and kind of introduced everything, like really kind of like when we get to the conclusion of like who the bad guy is and all that, like then you're like, oh, I see where you're going with this. I would have never guessed, even though they hinted it very heavily in the
Should
beginning.
we?
Yeah.
So should we just spoil that
Yeah,
now?
yeah, we can spoil
I
it.
feel
Okay,
like so.
sure.
It's like it's very stupid, but So what's great about this movie is it shows you a lot of what you already like, the characters, a little more about their personal lives. It builds out a lot of characters, especially Fire Emblem. We'll get to that in a second. Oh my God,
Fire Emblem,
which is a great
my
arc.
favorite character in this.
But then it's like all these cataclysmic events, and then it's like, oh, I was getting revenge on this guy because he made my dad commit suicide, which is very bad when I say it out loud and I think about it. But it's not like it's not a world altering event. It's like some guy getting revenge on the new head of
Right.
Apollon Media.
You know, it's sort of like if you guys have seen Civil War, the new Marvel film.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't
Captain America-
seen it
and-
yet.
I just spoiled it. I just
It's
spoiled
okay,
it.
just say
Okay,
it.
so the truth is, this
don't watch- if you
Tiger
have-
Just
and
put
Bunny.
your-
Tiger and Bunny. Tiger and Bunny has this, epic sort of story that it's supposed to be. It's this, almost mythological thing, but in the end, it's a story about revenge.
Yeah.
And Civil War is the same thing. You think it's this huge thing that's happening between governments, but ultimately, what it boils down to is a revenge story.
Revenge.
And that's what Tiger and Bunny is. But at the same time, similar to Civil War, Tiger and Bunny is super fun
Yeah.
and super awesome, and
Yeah.
just really enjoy it.
I think it did what like superhero movies should do, which is like have a very large, dose of humor and then have parts that are serious.
Yeah.
And it you know, like the part when Fire Emblem, like when he's going through his internal struggles
It's so
of
serious.
being like of being gay basically, and like being persecuted by all of these people and like having like these, you know, identity disorders, like that's, you know, all of his traumas like coming out, like you're like, wow, that's super serious.
Yeah.
And then there's just parts where it's
In a
just
Tiger and Bunny movie.
Yeah. And it's also like, okay, there's those kind of like really serious tones. You're like, oh, this is what makes it like, you know, raises the stakes is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Truly, Fire Emblem is the most compelling character in this entire movie.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Get
He has
into it,
the greatest arc. So there's a character in one of the villains. He can make you fall asleep. And what he does is when you fall asleep, you have to work through your subconscious and work
Apparently
through your
only
greatest
this one guy,
fears.
though, because nobody else really went through that.
Well,
Yeah, right?
I
we
think
don't
it's
see it.
because he had the most compelling story too.
Yes.
They can't do it for every single
And
person.
even the way they present, because as someone who doesn't know the series, which I love that you said to me prior to all this, that if Fire Emblem doesn't really get his due in the actual series.
anime series,
And
yeah.
in the movie, he even starts out as this insanely effeminate, like, you know,
Like offensively gay, basically.
offensive,
yeah.
yes. And then...
Aggressively, I think is the thing, the word you're
We're
looking
gonna say
for.
stereotype. It's a stereotype, and it's not.
And then
yeah.
he goes into this dream state where he's dealing with his subconscious, and you get to see the truth of the character. You see what his parents did to him for being gay, for being effeminate, for having sort of like this gender identity crisis. You see how people treated him, and then you get this entire arc that happens, and then the character comes out the other side as being the best character in the movie.
I know.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I've always loved that character because he's very like just knows what he wants. But he is portrayed as sort of a caricature of a gay person in the anime series, and a lot of people have found a lot of offense to that. So I don't know. I couldn't find anything. I don't know if that was a reaction or they're just like, hey, you know what? Fire Emblem needs some time. Let's give him some time in this movie. And he got like a feel good from this movie.
He got most of the time because he was like the big problem, really. I mean, you know, as these heroes fight these criminals, yeah, there's like damage and there are people like getting hurt and stuff. But at the end of the day, like the only reason they all kind of get together is because their friend is in trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
And
that's
at
true.
the end of the day, it was like, you know, what's a hero? A hero is like someone that like helps his friends out. You know?
Yeah, and that's you're right. Now that you put it that way, at the beginning of the film, especially, you see the heroes from League One very segregated in the way they do things. They're going after points. They're going after prestige. And then by the end of the film, the whole point is that they're now working together.
Yeah.
And they really built that. They built the team aspect.
But that's
and I
how
really
the
like
anime
that.
ends too. To
Yeah.
be fair.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, you're right because they are kind of like all split up and Tiger and Bunny and another team. But it's it's nice to see the whole gang back together at the very end.
And great job, just like using I guess a homosexual character and then like sort of presenting it one way and then totally wrapping, you know, like throwing it the other direction and
Yeah.
showing you some real truth
It's
and
kind of
honesty.
like we
love
weren't
it.
the ones who were biased against it. It was you, the viewers. You thought he was
How
one
dare you
sided.
assume that of us?
So besides Fire Emblem, let's get back to let's talk about some character development. I mean, this movie is here to give us more of what we love.
Yeah.
We have some funny personal struggles and we have some very serious ones. Some of the funny ones, we'll start with like kind of the least important, bottom right picture there. Rock Bison. Bless his little
Rock
soul.
Bison.
He
I
has the
really
funniest.
enjoyed
He has
him.
the funniest struggle.
Yeah.
And his struggle to stand out. So there's a scene where he is. Oh my God! He basically starts copying other people's
He's like
signature
other
thing.
heroes. Yeah.
So he does Sky High's pose, which is this, and they're like, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I did that. I just panicked and I didn't know what to do." And then Sky High's like, "It's fine. Like I don't really, you shouldn't do that though." But
And then he took someone else's catchphrase.
That's right, yeah. And he ends
Yeah.
up doing it like basically every single time.
Yeah.
Like every time he appears on camera, like there's when Blue Rose gets
Yeah.
her like little cameo thing and you see her sponsor, you see Bison like sneak himself into that.
yeah, he photobombs. But that's actually because that's Origami's. That's his signature thing is to like photobomb. So he actually stole Origami's thing.
Oh,
Okay,
wow. So that
that
was a
makes
double.
It was a
I
double,
love
it was a
it.
double dum-dum thing.
Wow, that's hilarious.
Rock Bison was
He's great.
surprisingly one of the funnier characters in
He's
this
so
entire
he
thing.
was definitely the comedic humor of the troupe. I mean, no one else is really doing that.
And
role.
it's crazy because he's like like a strong one that goes head first, but he's the lovable loser because he just
Rock Bison.
Just also like how everyone like has an epic like kind of deploy. You know, everyone's like running really fast,
yeah,
or like
yeah.
Sky High is just like flying through the city, and then like Bison he has to like get onto this like really old archaic ramp, and he's like struggling to get up. It's just like those are like the best moments in this movie.
Rock
It's like
Bison's
there's
great.
so much humor in that's actually like funny.
Yeah,
and,
in his character.
Yeah, and sets up this world, which is like, a part, like entertainment.
You're absolutely right, and it's why we love those Avengers movies.
Yeah.
You have that tongue-in-cheek humor, and then you have the serious bits. So we also have Dragon Kid's struggle is to master a new thing, which is fine because it's just foreshadowing. She's like, "Oh, I want to try to make my lightning into a form," and then like, "Okay." Later in the movie, I did it! It's a dragon!
That's
really kicked a lot of ass. That was very cool looking.
That's her arc. Like,
Dragon Kid.
Yeah, Dragon Kid.
Dragon Kid. It's okay. You
Yeah,
put those big things
it's
in your
really
head.
cool that like everyone had a little arc. You know?
Like I said,
everyone kinda had
this is
some time.
this is like a fan, like a movie for fans.
Yeah.
So Sky High, I don't even know what his deal was. He was basically like, how should I come across to people? And then at the very end, after Fire Emblem has his reveal, like I should just always be me, and that's enough. And Sky High is like, oh, I should do that too. And at the end of the movie, you see him adopting another dog.
Yeah.
I don't really know where that was going, but it was really cute.
I think his whole thing was like the whole issue was like he was just trying to get a dog. Like he didn't know whether or not to get that dog. Like that's how it played off to me because he's the king of heroes. But at the end of the day, he seems like a very like simple person. You know what I mean?
God, yeah.
and also in the series too, he is very like you think that he's gonna be like kind of like hoity about his position, but he's just like kind of like he's just vapid.
Yeah.
I love what do they say? Even the director says he's a loser.
Yeah, Rock Bison.
Rock Bison. I know. No, and that's something that I love with this. All the characters get a little bit of due. Like even though like Sky High doesn't necessarily get his due in terms of like the arc that the others.
Yeah.
Like he's so enjoyable. He is such.
He's like great.
He's
He's
such
great.
a goof.
And then so Origami doesn't really have an arc. I mean, he just kind of. I don't know what happens, but he like runs and finds a shield at some point and saves everybody. I have no idea what that was about.
His whole arc was like they were saying that he's kind of like a carrot. Like he has like this power. He thinks his power isn't very good.
Yeah.
Compared to everyone else.
Because he has to stab people in the back.
Yeah, and so he wants to be like a hero that fights like face to face. And so when he's like, "Oh, you're a coward," and that's why he runs away. But he only really runs away to like make a new crazy suit, basically.
So
That
he
was
can
weird.
fight head on. So he can fight head on.
And then he saves them.
Because if you think about it, he's like basically kind of the weird. He's like an otaku Iron Man because his power is basically is it shape-shifting?
I can't remember.
Shapeshift.
I know he shapeshifts, but I don't know if he made it out of armor or if that's his next power. I'm pretty sure in the series, I think that was like he made all that shit. So.
Okay. Yeah, well, there you
so
go.
he's Iron Man
Good,
style.
good job, Origami Sans. Blue Rose's arc is dumb. It's like just her. She has a. It's revealed in the anime. She has a crush on the old man, Wild Tiger, and she's supposed to be like 18. So this is that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But they
But
never,
it's anime.
they're not like
Yeah, they don't do
getting
anything.
down
So
and
her whole
romancing,
arc
so.
is like just liking him and like
Helping-
and like
helping.
helping. Her
Okay.
arc is helping him basically. So
Yeah.
she kind of gets a big arc in the anime. So I feel like they don't really. They're just like, it's fine. Just be here and be cute. You're done.
Hey man, you know what? And I will
got
say
you. We done
they
you.
do so much with her and Pepsi. Like I want to get the sponsorship with Blue Rose, drinking Pepsi, the Pepsi
Yeah.
logo,
Logo,
front of the
yeah.
camera.
There's
Pepsi.
a
That
opening
was like a
sequence.
real Pepsi thing too. They
Yeah,
made
all
a
the
Pepsi
all the
in
ads are
store.
real. All the ads
Yeah.
in this series are real. Like they paid good
They
money.
paid
to be in
money
this,
for it.
Yeah.
and to always be on their costumes
Which is
for the
kind
rest
of
of
which is
time.
kind of smart too if you think about it because it's just like, hey, we have an anime we want to make. We need funding.
Yeah.
You know, and like they wouldn't do it for anybody else really.
You know, starting next year in the NBA,
Yeah.
they're gonna have actual sponsorship logos on their jerseys. So that's kind of what's happening now. So the NBA is turning into Tiger and Bunny.
Yay!
put
See,
that
this
out
is
there.
how this is the way of the world, everybody.
if they end up having powers and like doing crazy like
All
super
right.
stuff, I want that. I want that basketball.
Uh-huh. So, real quick, so Barnaby and Tiger, their arcs are basically the same as the anime. Barnaby is he basically comes to terms with his past. He's already come to terms with his past, and now he's helping at an orphanage, and that's his whole thing. He's fine, basically.
Yeah.
And then Tiger, you know, he has the same exact arc as in the anime. He's like, I'm not powerful enough. I can't help anybody. Wait a minute, I should be a superhero, and that's the whole movie.
Yeah.
So, good job. We have some new characters. I'm going to talk about one, so I don't have too much time. Golden Ryan, one of the new characters.
Golden Ryan.
Who we already talked about, Golden
the
Lion,
American-
Golden
the
Ryan.
American
yeah.
a-hole.
He's basically
top there.
He's a douche that's like egotistical. Like
He's
next.
great. Brought to you by Ben Presto.
All right.
Golden
Good.
Ryan is like, you know, we talked to him already, like Gravity Lion Man who's ridiculous. We also have in the
armor's
middle
really
there,
cool,
we have
though.
2 bad guys. We have some guy with the white hair who's always the bad. If there's a guy with white
That's the
hair who
bad
shows
guy.
up in your
White
house,
hair is a
he's
bad
the
guy.
bad guy.
Also, the whole time they're just like, "Why are you glaring at me? Why are you why do you look like an evil guy?" Is
Yeah.
basically what
He's
they
the
say,
evil guy.
and then he ends up being the
That's
evil
your
guy.
villain.
So he's the evil guy whose next powers are basically Magneto powers.
Yes.
He has the power of magnetism.
He can make.
And-
Really, is it magnetism?
It's,
or is
well,
he
it's
can make
magnetism,
stuff?
and then he can make the machines.
It's
do
kind of like
shit.
Forge. Forge is
Yeah.
a character.
Yeah.
But like
he
more
creates-
immediate.
Yeah.
So Magneto plus Forge is
Yeah.
the guy, his Virgil on the left, and on the right, or my left, I don't know. The other guy, the guy with the glasses, is the Mark Schneider, Mr.
Now,
Schneider.
Okay, now this is hilarious because one of the biggest like TV
And
producers.
he's the real bad guy.
Yeah, one of the biggest TV producers in the United States is, I think his name is Dan Schneider.
Uh-huh.
So the fact that they did Mark Schneider, I was like, when I was watching, I went, wait a minute. Like, is this for real? Are they doing this on purpose?
That's like a weird coincidence.
Yeah. So the whole reveal is that Virgil's actually been posing as this dude's assistant for I don't know how many goddamn years to reveal that Mark Schneider is a bad person. It was
Yeah.
kind of a dumb reveal, but what do you
I
do?
mean, we all knew that he was a bad person. It's very evident that he's a shitty guy.
But it ends in a really amazing fight sequence
Fight
that
scene's
lasts
great.
like a third of the movie, and it's
Yeah.
great.
It really is.
I really don't care. It was really great.
I was wondering because I could see sort of the little bar on my computer like how much time is left, and I was like,
How
wow, we're
much
getting into
time.
this final battle really early, and it just
Yeah.
goes. Yeah, Mark Dan Schneider.
Yeah.
Dan Schneider.
Can we talk about the bad guys though?
Sure.
Those bad guys are super awesome.
Are you kidding? I feel
Well,
like they were
except-
very
okay,
throwaway.
they're
We
throwaway.
have
No,
Bane
they're definitely
from
throwaway.
Batman.
But yeah, okay, so the other 2 bad guys, maybe they're not that interesting. I mean, the fight scenes, all of their fight scenes are really awesome,
good.
I thought.
Good fight scenes.
But the dude with the mask
the
and like
scream.
the noise
Bane,
and
yeah.
like the sound design in that was so good too,
Yeah.
because it's like they're always like, oh, we hear this howling or whatever, and like you just see that this guy is just like screaming into his mask the whole time to make that noise. Like I don't know why, I just thought it was pretty
I
awesome.
will say, in terms of throwaway villains, which we see all the time in anime, and we see it in this one,
They're not bad.
not bad for
not the-
throwaway
Yeah.
villains.
But also, when you see their story, like
They do have
the
a
story.
quick-
Yeah, the stories are like literally one cut scenes, and
Mm-hmm.
after you see that, you're like, damn, I'm already relating.
It's
with
like
them.
this,
Yeah.
like their motivation is, that Mark Schneider has
Mark
also wronged them in some way.
Yeah.
So Bane used to be a boxer, and something happened with him, and I
Like,
can't
they-
remember.
he got sold out.
Something like
I
that.
think he like fixed the fight or
Yeah,
something.
the girl
Was a dancer.
it's
They had a dance troupe.
It seems like she had been like prostituted by him or something like that, and then it's just like a bunch of her
was
looking
that?
sad. And then
the old man.
the
think it
old
was like-
man,
he was
like a monk.
He was a monk, and they took
Tore
down
down
his
his
temple.
temple,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you're like you look at these guys, and you're like, oh wow, these are, they're not like bad guys. They're just like,
Yeah.
people
Hurt
trying for
bros.
revenge.
Yeah, you could actually see their side because Mark Schneider's he's a jerk.
big douche.
Yeah, he deserved to die.
All right. So besides these heroes,
I had to die.
these heroes,
the worst.
I guess real quick, we're gonna jump to John real quick for
Yep.
the sponsors.
Okay.
We're this is just really funny, and I feel like it needs to be said.
Yeah, it's hilarious, guys, because one of the things about this show is the sponsorship, and they make it like prevalent at the beginning, even in the entrance, when they're in the opening credits, when
Yeah.
they're showing each character, and they have like the sponsorship. We have like they're sponsored by Amazon, Crusade, SoftBank, Pepsi, that's Blue Rose, Ustream, which I love that. I was like, Ustream, that's an old school
it's
like.
like Twitch, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
without video games.
Yeah, like Fuji, which is I'm guessing like Fujifilm, but Fujitsu, and this one Calbe.
Oh,
Calbee
Calbee
is a
is
chips. It's like they're they're like
all the
Doritos.
chips. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just thought that was absolutely hilarious.
It's
I mean,
real.
it's not like an anime where they had the concept and they made up a bunch of
They
stuff.
weren't like Pepsi instead of Pepsi.
Yeah, they literally did it.
They got the
literally went
money.
out. Yes.
And I bet you anything, like, well, I know for a fact that all these people like paid them like
Of course,
real good money.
of
So
course.
it's like, yeah.
Yeah, these logos are on their action figures as well.
And to say that like, you're like, it's kind of like Mystery Men. Has anyone
Yeah,
seen
yeah, I've
Mystery
seen
Men?
Mystery Men, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, like the main hero, where
Mm-hmm.
it's like he's like the best superhero, but he's just like covered in sponsors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just like I love how there's this really real kind of
Yeah.
feeling to it. It's like grounded
That
in
could
our
happen.
reality, and it's these little things that ground them. Like even the whole media thing, like in chat, I believe who mentioned that? Starry Cosmic. Starry Cosmic mentioned the fact that like they bring the concept of like media being so like overpowering,
Yeah.
especially to like your values and stuff.
Yeah.
And that like definitely throughout it just like even in real life now, even in the industry now,
We talk about
it's
the NBA.
still like that.
Yeah, it's coming out
absolutely.
in the NBA next year. It's interesting to how much control that these companies have over the show, because you were saying that in some images or some things that you found online.
Oh, it doesn't have their logos on it.
Yes.
So there's like 2 video games for Tiger and Bunny, and in the video games there's no logos because they probably didn't pay for that thing.
Yeah.
But you know.
So it's fascinating that the art itself changes based on the money.
The money.
the money
I mean,
that's thrown
we
in.
talked about, or I guess you guys didn't see the whole anime series, but in the anime series, there's one of the biggest arcs is like, why do all these bad guys have this technology that we're using for our suits, you know, to amplify our powers? It's like, oh, because the network wanted better ratings, so we're giving the bad guys the technology to make better shows.
And though they didn't cover that in the movie necessarily, I completely was thinking that the whole time.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I actually thought the arc was that those bad guys were hired by the production company to make a better production.
that arc already happens.
Yeah, and I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't see the
because
series.
in the anime, Barnaby's parents developed the suit systems,
Right.
and then his parents were murdered to get that technology, and it's the whole thing is invigorating.
There's a lot of parent murdering.
There's so
in
much
there.
parent
It's like a
murdering.
Disney film.
Yeah.
You guys should watch the anime. It's really good. All right, so now
Nice.
we're
Which is
gonna
wait, the
Nice
Disney
here.
film, the Disney
Take
film,
that,
which is
Disney
on
podcast.
after this show. It's on after this.
now we're gonna flip over back to Max. He's gonna talk about anime about heroes. We're talking about superheroes a lot today.
Yeah.
So basically, I just figured that, you know, with One Punch Man and Hero Academia, there's kind of like a lot of these series out there that kind of plays on the tropes and stuff. I would say Hero Man is one of them. It's kind of American, but the idea is there's an alien. For some reason, he's an American alien. Don't ask me, right? He's like red, white, and blue and has a star on his chest, but he's a robot. It's pretty interesting to watch. The animation's really good. Boku no Hero Academia, it's kind of the hotness this season.
I just started watching it. It's cute.
It gets much better and much darker in the manga where I am right now. So,
Alright.
but I suggest you watch it. It's a really awesome show. If you're
Also
totally
on
into
Hulu?
superheroes and comic
Animation?
books and stuff, like it's like First Class, but you know, like with humor and goodness.
First Class was good.
First Class was good, sure, yeah. But I mean, this one's more like lighthearted. It's not about like World War II.
Yeah.
So you know.
Sure.
And then obviously One Punch Man
course.
is good because One Punch Man is, you know, you have
Hero
the
ranking
rankings, the
system.
associations.
Oh my gosh.
And also like
100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups.
every day, every day.
Let's just talk about One Punch Man for every episode after this. I just love it so much.
And the great thing about One Punch Man and Tiger and Bunny is like sometimes like these people have really shitty powers. Like that's what I love. Like also in academia, like there's people that have just like normal stupid powers. Like I think Deku's one was like he had a double jointed toe or something. And
oh yeah, that was his power. Yeah. And he was all sad.
And like in One Punch Man, there's like tank top, like all the tank top.
Yeah, they don't have
no
powers.
power.
Yeah.
They just wear tank tops.
Yeah.
And
They just hang out
guild,
together.
basically. And that's the stuff that like I always enjoy, and that's always comic relief to
Was
me.
it Tank Top Tiger? Is that it?
Yeah, tank
There's a
top.
whole bunch.
There's tank top tiger. There's tank top black hole, and the tank top master.
Yeah,
and there's
Master,
more
there's
too.
Like a boss and minions.
This is one I love that you put on, Samurai Flamenco.
What a great anime.
Samurai
I love that movie.
Flamenco
or
is basically like someone trying to
it.
become a hero, and there's all these other like vigilantes that kind of like, and it gets really weird. It's a totally
lot of weird
strange
shit, yeah.
series. It gets like there's this kind of like dark undertone that like is woven above all this kind of like, hey, I want to be like this self-made like vigilante type deal. And it's a great series. And if you kind of like weirdness, Samurai Flamenco.
Yeah, I think you'd
really
find it.
good.
I'm
It's
not
all
sure.
on Netflix.
It's on
Writing's very
Netflix and
good,
Hulu,
too.
Hulu Plus as well.
Yeah.
And that's one that'll really get to the heart of being a hero. Like
Yeah.
that's what it's all about. Like this character is all about truly being a hero, even though he can't do jack.
It get dark. It get
Samurai
dark though.
Flamenco.
It get real dark.
It get real
there.
dark.
Another one is Ratman. It's a manga. It's basically kind of the opposite. It's about these basically supervillains. But there's also a hero association. This kid wants to become a hero, but instead he actually gets roped up into becoming like a supervillain. But then he overcomes being a supervillain and eventually obviously becomes a hero, and they fight their true villain, etc., etc. Very good. I believe it's only a manga. I'm not 100% sure it's an anime. I don't think it is. Speaking of manga, Zetman is one to mention because it also has the same kind of tiger and bunny tropes. It's way darker, like way darker, super mature.
Would you say that it's darker than black?
I hate you. I hate you all. You can't see it, but it says that right underneath the paper.
It says darker than black.
And I honestly set myself up for it. I don't want to shoot myself in the face. But Zetman is actually the character designer, the manga, the artist for Tiger and Bunny. So if you watch Tiger and Bunny, you'll see that the art styles are very similar. Very dark. Once again, if you're above 18 years old, you should totally
check it
read
out, kids.
Darker Than Black is another great series.
So dark, darker than black.
It's not actually that dark. Not
I haven't
really.
seen it. I'm
It's
just
not
reading
really that
stuff.
dark, and it kind of dips off like the later you go. But seriously, great series. Really
It's a
good
great
one.
series. It's about people with superpowers but what happens is they exchange superpowers for human emotions, and then they have this convulsion that they have to like fulfill. Like sometimes it's like drinking a beer or like smoking cigarettes, or sometimes it's drinking children's blood. So whatever. Totally watch that if that interests you.
Totally watch that.
Gotcha Man, because Gotcha Man. I don't know why I put that in there because they're heroes and they're ninjas and they're scientists, like multifaceted.
All right, Max, give us like one more.
All right,
One more. Okay, one more.
You gotta pick
okay. I'm gonna do two. Sorry. Okay. Charlotte is really good. Birdman is a manga. Read Birdman. Charlotte is really good. It's by the people that did Angel Beats. It's about the ordinary people that have superpowers, and then Get Backers because that's old school and it's the best.
Yeah.
Backers.
So there's plenty of anime about superheroes. I believe the last time we had a superhero anime, which was the Avengers. Oh God, please don't remind me to watch that. We did the anime Avengers movie, the Black Widow.
The second
and,
one. Yeah.
And
not
we were
Titanfall.
sitting there and we were
was-
like, hey, are there that many anime about superheroes? We're like, no, like that doesn't seem right.
The truth is, whenever the
there's a lot.
Japanese
There's a lot.
take one of the Marvel or superhero film or genres, it's terrible. They do. I mean, they've been bad across the board. Although their opening for the X-Men series was great, the X-Men series itself was terrible.
It's hard because they definitely introduce a bunch of Japanese tropes which haven't played out into an American franchise, which
Doesn't work.
I mean, it's not that it doesn't work. It's just why you
Why
reskin?
do?
It's a reskin, and
Why
we don't
do?
need that.
Yeah.
So real quick before we go, we have two things to do. One is to tell everybody who's your favorite hero or your favorite hero outfit or your favorite hero power.
Oh.
One of those.
No.
So you guys have, I'll do mine real quick. Is I love Fire Emblem's cape. Fire Emblem
Always
also has
cape,
like
though.
one of the best powers. You can just shoot fire, and that's like destructive and really good. But his cape is constantly CG'd burning flames, and I was just like, go. So
He's all
good.
CG too.
I
which
would
is
love,
kinda weird.
love to see, because most of the characters are half CG and then their face is regular animation, but you don't see his face because it's like a cowl. But I would love to see some cosplay out there in the world to go do that and CG, get like an LED
Seriously.
screen and a cape.
Something.
and I would,
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
That's my dream cosplay. All right. how about you
Okay,
guys?
it's hard because you want to try to pick something different, but guys, Fire Emblem, like you just can't. Like they
this
just
movie, yes, you
in
are.
this movie,
Yeah.
it's all about Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a great power. I mean, you're Pyro from X-Men, but you actually don't have.
Pyro
but
sucks.
you don't need to like have something to create fire. You are the fire, and on top of that, he is just a compelling character in every way. Looks freaking awesome.
Sure do.
Like, dude, Fire Emblem is all the reason to watch this, amongst other things, but Fire Emblem all the way. Tom, give us something else if you got it.
I know.
Yeah, I
more
mean, I
Fire
do like Fire Emblem. He's not my favorite. In my Origami's my favorite, basically.
Origami, yeah.
Because like Origami is like such a weeaboo. Like when the way they introduce him is like the reason he like became that hero was because he just was like really into
Oh, that's
Japanese
right.
anime. Yeah,
Because he's a blonde. He's a blonde
he's like-
child
yeah,
who lives
yeah,
in New
he's-
York, basically.
Yeah, he's American, basically, or foreign, or English, or whatever it is in
Something.
this world. The whole reason that he looks like this kabuki ninja is because he just really loves anime.
I forgot about that because at the very end of the movie they show all the characters doing their normal everyday stuff, and he's like doing a tea ceremony. And I'm like, why is he blonde though? I'm like, oh, that's right, he's a weeaboo.
Yeah,
he's a
Like he's
weeaboo.
wearing like a Scudjon
Yeah.
jacket, and like it's so funny.
But also, like, I look at him and I'm like, if I had the means and technology, I would totally make a totally awesome suit
so
like
if
that.
you guys
Yeah,
ever see an
that's me.
Origami running around the streets, it's Max.
It's Max.
And he just
That's
got
me.
some money.
Hey, I can't read over there because I don't have my glasses on, but the bottom person said that Fire Emblem, the lipstick is always
Always on point.
Yep. I don't know
That's
who
true.
that, but
His
yeah.
he's always on.
His
His
makeup
makeup is on
nice.
Makeup
point.
He has
is on
a nice looking
point
kid.
all the time.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's rate this movie out of 5.
Out of fire.
I mean, I'm always doing this, but in its genre. So like, you can't compare this movie to like a Miyazaki movie. You can't
No, we
compare
have a
this
lot of
movie
genres.
Yeah.
to like Ghost in the Shell. You can't. It's its own little fucking genre. This genre of movie is like just for fans to enjoy the characters again, but with more episodes. I don't know.
Well,
I think I would give it. I would recommend it to somebody who is like, I don't really watch a lot of anime. I like superhero stuff though. Is there something easy I could watch that's like 90 minutes long? I'd be like, this movie. So it's like a 4. Because the animation is really good. The fight scenes are amazing.
In terms of quality of anime movie and animation in basically all of anime, that's one of the tops.
Yeah,
like,
it's really good.
I'm not
Yeah,
kidding.
it looks great.
I've watched a lot of anime movies and a lot of anime in general.
Of course, you're on this show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you do.
And it's like the quality never really drops, which is saying a lot. That means they have a lot of money.
And in this movie, it's actually, I've heard the quality isn't as good as the regular anime series. So go back and check it out. But that world building with the Stern build is beautiful.
City.
Like they're always panning out of the city and going in. They're always like, hey, look, we made these giant CG maps. We're gonna show you them.
Yeah, and they're 3D, pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So you got a solid 4. I'm actually from a perspective of someone who's never seen the series. This is just the movie on its own, standalone. We've got throwaway villains like usual, but they're much more compelling than the usual throwaway villains. You've got great looking stuff, fun characters. I mean, I'm giving it 4 1/4. I'm giving it straight up 4 1/4.
I like it.
I had a great time with this one.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't even see the series.
I haven't even
That's
seen the
very
series.
surprising. Usually, if you don't see a series and you watch the movie that comes after the series, you're like, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, and
Like
granted,
me with Psychopaths, I was like, no.
and the thing is, I knew that, seen movie 2, and I know a little bit, like I've heard some people and I've talked to some people
Right.
about, like, and so for the most part, I knew there was a ton of stuff
Right.
that I don't know.
Alright.
And so, but overall, 4 1/4, man, really solid, you guys. If you've never seen anything, watch the movie, watch the
it.
series, pick anything, because I think
good.
it's going to be strong regardless. This is great.
And Max, real quick before we go.
I'm gonna give it a 4, because there's little the development's a little reliant on kind of like knowing the series, but as a standalone movie, just watching it kind of as standalone, it's been a while since I've actually seen the series, so I've had a very vague notion of what everything was. But for its own standalone movie, it's very rare that you can watch a standalone movie and understand it without any sort of
Googling.
origin story. Like if you watch Captain America, if you watch Civil War, for instance, without any knowledge of other people, it would not make sense.
That's true.
This
That would be
movie,
All right.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point.
So we got
That's
a
very good
solid
point.
like
4
4
4
average,
4 1/4.
right? 4 1/4
Yeah.
average.
4 1/4.
So thank you guys so much for watching us. Next week, what are we doing? We don't know yet.
Yeah, Max, I think it's you.
we might
might.
Terraformer the live action.
Okay,
maybe.
maybe, but
If I
maybe
can
not. You'll
find
never
it.
know.
Yeah,
You
I
can
know.
find me everywhere on the internet at I am Chubby Bunny. How about you guys?
You can find me at Kaibacat, Kaibacat.
And you can find me at Super Otaku.
Perfect. Everywhere
everything.
on the internet. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Bye. Deb.
And the entire Popcorn Talk Network. We would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or